I didn't get great reviews every year. People didn't just say you're wonderful.
No, I never wanted to be anyone but myself. I think it's not a breakthrough, it's a matter of staying on a path, staying in a direction, having a point of view, believing in what you're doing.
But the ability to stay young, to enjoy what you enjoyed when you were a kid, not to give up.
Never feel like we're really grown up in a way.
Growing up was the platform of things that I wanted as I got older.
Mind if I put a poster in your window? Thank you.
Art support.
But the ability to stay young, the ability to enjoy what you enjoyed when you were a kid, not to give up the hope and the excitement is very important.
I'm happy with myself, and therefore I could be caring about other people. People sometimes don't care. They're so busy with themselves and so busy growing, so busy trying to be something. And they forget until something tragic happens in their life, until they lose somebody or they lose something in their life. They say, why didn't I do the right thing? Why didn't I say something to my dad? Why didn't I say something? Why didn't I say what I always wanted to say? I'm trying to say it now while I'm alive. My designs are myself. Whatever you want to call them, they're successful, they're real, they're honest, they're clean.
Aspiration to taste life, the aspiration to go to a restaurant that's wonderful, enjoy it, go to a theater, enjoy the theater, go home and have a nice home with beautiful furniture that they know they've earned or they work for, know that they're dealing with the best taste in the world, feeling happy about accomplishment. I think that's very, very important. So I have all those feelings. Now, love is not about love, but love was the passion.
And the care.
He knew that I loved what I did.
You had a passion for it.
I had a passion. Everything I've always done has been for my own emotion, and it was never done for a brand or a label. It's because I feel it. And when you give it a title, then it sort of takes it away from me. Everything I did was, I loved what I was doing. I had no money and I had no worry. I had nothing to lose. I just went and did what I believed in, and I stayed with it. And so, and my instincts, just as I said, I'm not going to change the tie, was the same way about the clothes. It was not about fashion. It was about how I would like to live. And what made me keep going, I didn't get great reviews every year. People didn't just say you're wonderful. In fact, they couldn't care less. Ralph Lauren. I love working. I love the excitement. I like teams. I like the challenge of doing something hasn't been done. I have a wife. I have kids. I knew they needed things. I knew they weren't in the stores. And so all these things were inspiring.
You know, inspiration is taken from people that are living a life. No, I never wanted to be anyone but myself. But I loved certain elements of different people. Everything, you're inspired by different things. Right. We're inspired, a writer, an artist is inspired. Picasso, whoever it was inspired by somebody else. They were inspired by a world around them and other artists. I've been inspired by a lot of things. And so you can't help but see what's out in the world. You can't help but be inspired. I'm inspired by a lifestyle that is happy, and you know, we all go through our life hoping that we're going to be successful, hoping that we're going to be able to buy the house that we want, hoping that we can have the ranch or the, you know. So I was inspired by those worlds, you know. I was inspired, the thought of being a rancher, the thought about, my things are new, but they're inspired by a concept of living as opposed to fashion. It's not only the artistic part of it, it's the excitement of what can I do that I haven't done before. And as I worked harder, I was able to improve it. There was no miracle. There was no snap of the fingers.
Right.
And it was confidence. And I think confidence builds as you go on. If you have a good success.
My sense is that you can make your life be whatever you want it to be. You might not be a designer, but you can succeed in whatever you want it to be in your life. You got to believe in who you are. I mean, I grew. When I went to Bloomingdale's with ties, and the buyer said, I don't want to buy these ties. I knew they were good. I closed my bag. Now, I had no money. I closed my bag and I said, I'm leaving. He said, Ralph, we've been looking around and we decided we want to buy your ties. Well, that little success parlays into another success. In other words, all of a sudden, I said, wait a minute, I can do it. And I can do it again.
They were not just a business to me. They were my voice, a sense of my own individuality. What can I do that I haven't done? You know, in terms of taste, talents, excitement, fighting to build newness, rejuvenating polo, keeping the new brands ahead, keeping a new purple label luxury company. Doing all these things is what excites me. And the ability to do that is exciting. And I love the fact that I'm not following. If I started to follow, then I would quit. So what's motivated me is newness, is energy to change, the awareness that things move on.
You know, my life and my career has been an accumulation of build. I think it's not a breakthrough. It's a matter of staying on a path, staying in a direction, having a point of view, believing in what you're doing. The scope and the focus to say, this is who I want to be, this is what I like. Now, what was that? We grow up with aspirations. We grow up with a sense of accomplishment. Where are we going to go? What are we going to be? What are you going to do? Are you going to become a teacher? Are you going to become a doctor? What are you going to be? There were aspirations and dreams of accomplishment in terms of a life you want to live. My clothes were part of the dream. My clothes were part of the world. You can't separate clothing. In my world, you can't set the environment away from what you're wearing. I am what I do, and I sort of have lived it, and I can't explain how I've been able to put it together. It's not a matter of authenticity. It's a matter of I went and did something that I loved.
Yeah.
Polo, Ralph Lauren, whatever I did was my insides. It's a very emotional thing that goes through you. Designers, whether they do what I do something else, they have a sense inside them. They see the world, and they have a sense of something that hits them. Because I've sort of, as I've been growing up and became a grown-up, I sort of watched myself, sort of almost stepped back and said, who is this guy? What's happening? It's like almost, we all somehow in a way think, we sort of never feel like we're really grown up in a way. We're looking at ourselves and say, look at me, look what I'm here.
I think they were inspirations. You know, I think when you're younger, you have visions of what your life could be. And I said earlier that movies and books open the world for you. Growing up was the platform of things that I wanted as I got older. And so instead of looking at a store, I'd say, I want to make those shoes, but I can make them better. So on some levels, I had a very good childhood, and I had the clothes, and some levels hand-me-downs. But as I grew up, I was inspired to see if I could do things that were better.